I'd like to share a method that's more effective than budgeting, takes less time, and is much easier to follow. You can explain this to anyone with a simple sheet of paper. We're going to start by just drawing a simple box. And this box is going to have two columns. Split it right down the middle. On the left column, we have I. Then we're going to draw two lines, one at the top, one at the bottom, about 25% of the way on each side, with the middle representing about 50% of the total line. This box is going to get an S, this is going to get an O, and this is going to get a P. Our I is going to stand for income. The S stands for savings, the O stands for obligations, and the P stands for pile. So your income here is basically everything you get in the door net of paying taxes, health insurance, and your 401k match. So after paying all that, you have your net take-home income. After that, we're going to put 25% into saving. We're going to put 50% into this O or obligation, and then we're going to have the other 25% into P for the pile. The conventional wisdom to save 10 to 15% of your income is too low in my opinion. If you're truly going to seek after financial independence, financial freedom, wealth building, whatever you want to call it, you have got to save at least 25% plus of your take-home income. If you can't get there right away, just keep your spending the same, and as you get raises, just continue to raise that until you reach 25%. I think that's the point when you can really start to build some serious wealth. The point of the savings is to do one of two things. Either one, increase your income. So every time you save and let's say buy a stock or contribute to your 401k, what you're essentially doing is planting a tree. So if we invest this in, say, the stock market, we're going to get little eyes, little bits of fruit. And these little fruit represent roughly 10% of the amount that you saved. So let's say you put 25%, let's just make it a number. So let's say 25,000. So your income's 100,000, your saving in that case would be 25,000. That's $25,000 worth of investments. That's going to generate for you roughly, let's say 10% per year. So this would be $2,500, this little I. That little I is creating income for you not just next year, but the year after that, and the year after that. And these fruits will naturally get just a little bit bigger each and every year. So these are adding to your income column. So every time you add an investment, you also add a little I for the next year. And as you continue to accumulate more trees, those trees will continue to produce more and more income. So after 2 years, you're going to have two trees that are paying you income. So over time, these incomes are going to start stacking up, and eventually the income that you get from your little fruits off your trees is going to exceed the entire income that you currently have. Speaking of I's, the bigger the interest rate you get on your investments, the higher return on your investments, the bigger these I's are going to become. Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. I've studied Warren for the better part of a decade, and I think there's a 5-part framework that Buffett used before making any investment decision. If you'd like to get this 5-part framework, I'll have a link in the description down below where you can sign up for my free email course. It's 5 days. I'll send you one email per day that goes through each one of these parts of Buffett's framework. I think it's going to help you think through your investments more intelligently, more rationally, and ultimately increase your returns. So totally free, no obligations, link in the description down below. And now back to the video. The other place your savings can go is towards the debt that feeds obligations. So let's say this chunk represents, let's say a $25,000 car loan or something like that. This is kind of like a ball and chain. So imagine this like a big concrete block that you're carrying. And what these do is they feed your obligations. So you have to make your monthly payment each and every year. It's going to eat up a slice of your obligations. You can also put your savings towards canceling these obligations. So what that does is frees up additional money here that's not going to cover this debt. It's going to something else that you want to save for or spend money on or save even more. The final place that this 25% savings could be used for is to build up an emergency fund. So this is going to represent E, which is your emergency fund. So one important part of this entire system is that this be a separate account. We keep our E account, our emergency account, at Vanguard, and we keep it in a money market account. So it earns right now about 3.8% per year. Basically, the goal here is just to keep up with inflation. And we have it at a separate account because you don't want this money to be spent. You want this to be out of sight, out of mind. The only time you're ever going to access this money is if you have a true emergency that pops up. So that's one of the 3 accounts that you're going to need here. So with this 25%, you're going to do one of those 3 things. Either first, you're going to build up your emergency fund. Second, you're going to pay off these big debts. And then third, you're going to invest additional money into your 401k or other accounts after getting your 401k match. So the 401k match is just kind of a given. This is going to be above and beyond that. So in total, 25% towards one of those 3. You could do it towards a little bit of each if you wanted to. I would start emergency fund first, and then after that, do either investments or debt, whichever one you want to do. We typically do investments first because that reduces our tax obligation and also tends to earn higher returns over time. But if you had credit card debt or something like that, I would definitely prioritize paying that off first. Next, let's talk about the obligations. So the obligations simply represents everything that you know you're going to have to spend money on, you're required to spend money on. There's no getting around these things. These are things like your mortgage payment. You've got to pay the mortgage payment. This also includes those debt repayments that we talked about. This also includes taxes. This could include anything really that you know throughout the course of a year. Just literally make a spreadsheet or put it on a legal pad. January, February, March, April, May, all the months of the year. Write down when you got to pay your insurance, your car insurance, your life insurance, all the things that are going to come out of the pile at some point. Another thing you absolutely have to account for here are home maintenance and car maintenance. So the typical rule of thumb, what I want you to do is set aside at least $1 per square foot if you own a house. So our house is about 50 square feet. So I'm going to set aside in this account $25,550 per year, or roughly $250 per month is what I do, just to get it a little higher. So what I do is I automatically have an account at Ally, or you can use any other account, but you want to have an account that lets you create multiple buckets. So we used Ally, you can use whatever you want, but we literally have an account at Ally called House. And it's a sub account, so it's all technically within the same account. It's just labeled House. And we'll set $250 per month will automatically go into this house bucket. And the only time we would tap this bucket is when we have a home repair. So the water heater goes out, the roof needs replaced, whatever it is, you're just going to keep building up this house account, just knowing that at some point you're going to have to use it for something relating to house repair. The second thing you're going to do is add a car account. This is the same thing. You're going to set aside a certain amount of money each month, and that's going to go to pay for car maintenance. So your transmission, your oil changes, your brakes, whatever that is. I like to do $150 per month per car. So we have 2 cars, so we set aside $300 a month that goes into this car bucket. We may not spend this for months. We may not spend it for an entire year, but we still put it into this account and just pretend like it doesn't exist until we actually need it for the car. If it accumulates high enough, we could just use it to put towards buying a new car when eventually that car is needing replaced. Another account that you may want to set aside is Christmas gifts. So it's just Christmas season. Instead of waiting and having this quote unquote surprise expense in December of every year or November, whenever you buy your gifts, just set that aside each month. So have $100 per month, just go right into this gifts account in your Ally. So once Christmas time comes, you can just simply move that money out of your gifts account and move it into your main Ally checking account, and you've got money there for gifts. Another thing we do is put aside another $100 a month to go towards insurance. So our car insurance is every February or March. So we just have an account called insurance, and $100 a month goes in there, and then whenever the bill is paid, it just automatically comes right out of this insurance pile. So you're going to have several of these accounts, and you're just going to automatically save each and every month towards those purchases. The rest of the money here is just going to flow into your checking account. Now, your checking account is going to act kind of like the hub of this whole thing. So all of your automatic payments are going to come from the hub. Anything that's an obligation like utilities, things that you absolutely know you're going to spend money on, or little savings like these, you put in this account. Finally, you're going to have what's left over, and that's money that you can spend guilt-free. What I would recommend doing is getting a Discover account debit card. And the reason we do Discover is that it has a 1% cash back, and it's a debit card, which means we set aside some amount of money each month, goes right onto that card, and we just spend that. If we spend it guilt-free, knowing that as long as we just spend discretionary purchases on this debit card, we always have at least 1 penny left in that account. We know that all of our other goals are being taken care of, all of our bills are going to be paid, and we're setting aside money for our future, and we can just simplify it to just that one debit card account. Then after you get that account set up, what you're going to do is you're going to alert yourself, you're going to set up alerts. Every day you get the account balance that's left on that debit card. You'll also set up a notification that anytime there's a transaction made with that debit card, it will automatically text you on your phone. Set it up for both you and your spouse, so both my wife and I will get these messages, and that way we always know this is how much we have left in our spending account. And if you go buy something dumb, or maybe you get a fraudulent charge, or something happens on your card, you're going to know about it right away. There's all kinds of good things that will occur out of this, and the best thing is it's going to be completely effortless. You and your spouse are going to be on the same page. You're always going to know where you stand financially at any point in time, and you don't have to categorize anything. We don't categorize whether we spent $500 on groceries or $300 on groceries, or we went out to eat for $100, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You don't need to categorize it. Just know this is the guilt-free spending money. If you buy it on clothes, whatever you want, just spend it freely, and just don't spend more than that. And that's it. You don't have to think about it more than that. This system is completely automated. So hopefully that's helpful for you as you start your New Year's resolutions, or if maybe throughout the year you're just trying to get a budget going. Don't do a budget. Set up a system like this that can automate your life and make it so much easier. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.